Ladies and gentlemen, welcome at another Q&A session during 61st edition of Krakow Film Festival. Now we are hosting the Q&A with the director of the film that shot them, Per Anders Rudelius. Hello, Per.
Hello, nice to be with you.
Thank you so much for finding the time for this session. Per, I have to start with the obvious question about the origin of this project. How it all started for you? Did you know Matthias before? How did you meet him? Did you have any bond? How did it look like?
Well, I live in the part of Sweden where this tragic story took place, and we've been living with it for 14 years. It happens in 2007, and it has been a trauma for this part of Sweden for a long time. And a lot of people think that you should put the lid on. You should not. You should just leave it, forget it, and everything will be fine, and everyone will be happy. But I don't think that anything gets better by not talking about it. Any conflict, if you talk about it, it gets better. And I think we have a lot to learn from this story. What happens when society and grown-ups lets down people, and that is what we can learn from this. And it took a long time to get to know Matthias and Stoffe and the other people around, and it was not so easy to get in touch with them. I didn't know them before. I came to know them through this project. So.
But your approach was more like a reminder about this event, as you mentioned that people, they didn't talk about it. So you wanted to remind them about it. You wanted to build this discussion again, or you want to put like some new light from the today's perspective when we have the distance after a few years of these events.
Yeah, the distance is, of course, good to have for a story like this, I think. But as I said, I think it's good. It's not good to just forget it. I think we have a lot to learn from it. So that's the really important thing about the film. I think that we can learn what happens if grown-ups don't put the foot down when something happens, to show courage, civil courage, and so on. And this film is it takes the starting point in Mattis and Stoffe's thoughts about what happened, and they're a bit different. And there is when they grow up, as the film shows, there is always some people who take the liberty to bully people who is a little bit different. But I think this shows that the strength of these guys, and it's a film about lack of love, but it's also a film about a lot of love and hoping for reconciliation, I think.
I have to tell you that I was pretty surprised when I was watching your film, because when I read about these events, about these tragic events in Sweden, I thought that you will be more like an investigator or a person that actually would bring some accusation, that you're gonna point to the people and you said you are guilty of the situation and you are guilty of the situation. But instead of that, I received a film that actually didn't even try to put a finger. You are more like a person who tried to explain us how complicated this situation was and how many angles we should have when we talk about it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a true crime story. It's, as I said, take the starting point in the thoughts of Mattis and Stoffe, and it has been really important for me not to judge anyone involved in this story. They're of course all losers. There is no winner in a story like this, but on all sides of the conflict, they have been let down by the society. So it has been really important for me. So neither me or the film judge anyone in this. We're just trying to understand what happened and what led to this tragic happening.
And could you tell us a little bit more about your work with Matthias? How did it look like? How much time did you spend together? How actually your regular days when you were together looked like? How did you get this footage that we saw in the film?
I spent this is the first time Mattis talks publicly about what did happen, and we spent a lot of time together and before starting filming, and it's like I guess it's like all friendships that you build. It needs a lot of time and a lot of food to get to know each other. And I think I just spent a lot of time with him and with some of the others as well um, to make this relation with him that I have now. I really like him a lot. I think if you do a film like this, it's really important that you like your characters, and in this case, I really do that very much. So.
And did you see that actually making this film, it helps Matthias as well, that it works for him therapeutic way, that it like brings something positive to his life as well, that he can right now express his emotions, his thoughts, and his way of thinking about these tragic events?
I hope it helps him. I mean, the film just premiered. I don't really know. It has premiered here in Sweden, and he's got a lot of love after that, and that is really the best thing about it all, that he's got a lot of love after this, and that it did not open any wounds, what it seems like, which has been very important for me to do the balance through the film. And I hope he will benefit from showing his strength to the public.
And could you tell us what was the reception of the film? Because as far as I know, it was broadcasted at the Swedish TV, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was last week. It was a record for the documentary for this year. This was a big audience to the film, and there's been a lot of writing and a lot of what do you say? A lot of media around it. So yeah, it's a hectic time for me now. But unfortunately, I could not come to Krakow. I really sorry about that. I really hope to be able to come back.
Hopefully with your next project, we definitely see each other face to face instead of talking through the Zoom. Yeah.
I love to do that.
Gotcha. And Per, could you also tell us something about how Matthias actually managed going through this process? Was it like that when he decided to make this film, he just opened and it go just like that, or how he actually acted with the camera? Did he know from the very beginning actually what he wanted to share with you, or did he actually was looking for it during the process? How did it look like?
I think it took a while for him to get used to the camera, of course, like everyone. But I think when you have been through a trauma like this, I think you put a lot of your thoughts and a lot of your memories, you push them away, and I think it took a while for him to get them up again, and that was. But not in a bad way, because I mean, sometimes if you're going to relive things like this, it's not like that. But I think he hasn't been talking a lot about it at all during these years, and so I think it's a good. I got a really good message from one of the viewers the other days who said, I have seen there has been some radio documentaries about this too, I think the last 5 years about this tragedy, and there's been one TV report more you could say a year ago, something like that, which was more like a true crime, just documenting everything that happened. And then and the people who wrote to me said that I'm so glad for your film because it feels like the end of the story. Now we know another side of everything. Or I can't really recall the words, but I think that was a really nice thing nice way to put it. That maybe it's over.
Gotcha. And from the film, in the end of the film, we can see that actually you were trying to contact also with the parents of the boys, and the one who died and the second one who was injured. Can you tell us what kind of reactions they have? How did they react for the idea that you are preparing this film?
I've been in contact with one of them. Some of them didn't want to answer me. I guess they have got a lot of people asking them through the years, you know, to make interviews with them and so they just blocked me, some of them. But I spoke to someone and I wrote letters to them and telling them what I was doing and to let them know what kind of film was going to be broadcasted in Sweden. And the one I talked to, he was just he said that he can't find the strength to talk about it, and I accept that. No one has to join a film if they don't if they don't want to. I have all the respect for them saying no. But there has been a lot of people, you know, not the parents around these people, but a lot of other people in the village where this happened. That we first arranged meetings, and then the day after they canceled the meetings. Said, no, I cannot be in this. And so there's some people are scared to talk about it in some way, and I respect that.
Gotcha. And if it's about Matthias' father, did he see the film? Did he see the edited material? Do you know?
I'm not,
reaction.
His father has not seen it, but all the other people have seen. His father does not want to talk about it, not even with his family. So, but his brother and his wife and all the kids have seen it.
And what kind of reactions they had for that?
No, they are happy with. I've been open all the time with what I wanted to do, and so they're happy with it, from what I know.
I understand. Pat, before I let you go, I would like to also ask you about your own process, like your own digging into these stories, because you became like from a person who was just a, I don't know, neighbor or just a person in the around the place when the tragedy happened, and now you became like a digger into this tragedy. So I'm just curious how your way of thinking about it changed, and what did you learn about it?
Well, every film you do, you learn a little bit about a lot, and you make new friends, and it's to dig into a tragic story like this is of course hard, because there's so many tragic things happen, and there's so much tragic still there after all these years. And of course, I bring them with me when I go to sleep and think about it a lot. But in the end, I still think, as the point was when I started to do the film, that I wanted people to learn from this. I wanted to learn myself how could this happen, and how do we behave to each other, people. Is it like some people has to be bullied? Does it have to be like that, or can we do something about it? I've learned a lot from doing this project, and my hope is, of course, that some other people have done that too.
Mm-hmm. And could you, in the end, could you tell us what is the situation with the gangs nowadays? Do you like? Is the situation better? Has the situation changed after this tragedy? Like, do the social cases or any other institution bring something new just to like make people feel safer in the area and make sure that this situation won't repeat itself?
I think these moped gangs, they pop up a little here and a little there, and this is not very special for Rödeby, which is the name of this village. Some years they're on other places, and in this case it went a little too far, the conflict, because of a lot of circumstances. But I think that it has been. They're still gonna pop up somewhere, but the society has to take the warning signals more. They have to listen to them, I think. But right now there's I don't know if there's no gangs now, what I know in this part of Sweden that I heard of these days. But a few years ago, I heard there was some trouble, but then it pops out. It comes with generations and leaves with generations, I think.
Gotcha. So it's always good to remind about cases like the one that you presented in the film, but as you said, from the money perspective. Thank you so much for finding the time for this Q&A session. Thank you so much for the film. And as we said, hopefully next year we see each other face to face in Krakow during the 62nd edition of the festival.
I really hope so. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really proud to be having my film on your festival.
Perfect. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.